Good afternoon, YouTube. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle, a happy medium, and welcome back, everybody. I hope you are all well here on the channel. It's a pleasure to have you back with me as me and the Spirit World talk to you a little bit about keeping the flow, and a video that's been highly requested from me, and a one that I think is probably going to help some of you out there. It may not help everybody, but I'll certainly give it a bash. So me and the Spirit World want to talk to you a little bit about when you're doing your communications, the flow that you get, and how you can improve it. And I would say probably one of my 4 top tips with connections to this one. So keeping the flow is where you've had a bit of evidence, and then there's a bit of a pause, and then another bit will drop in, and then another pause, or you've really got to think about it, and all these types of things. And for me personally, this is probably one of the biggest things that budding medium struggles with when they first start mediumship. So let me help you a little bit understand what it is that could be going wrong and if we can put that right. So first things first, we need to look at how close is the loved one to your mind. And this is one that lots and lots of mediums first don't look at, because what they've normally done is jumped out on a psychic link. Instead of moving the mind to the spirit world, they've jumped out on a psychic link. They've got a couple of pieces of info, but then they can't get anything more, because ultimately the communicator isn't there because their mind's not in the spirit world. So what we have to look at is making sure, so really my first top tip would be moving the mind. So my apologies there on that one, folks. Moving the mind and making sure you're working mediumistically and not psychically. Sorry, my apologies with my back to the camera there. My second one would be then taking a look at how close is the loved one. So what we want to be saying to the spirit world, once we've got mind in the spirit world, look, come forward, give me more, talk to me, all right? Because what lots and lots of mediums do is they overstrive. So the mind's here. I hope you can all see this. I need some new pens, so please do bear with me. I'll move it to this side because the light's also in the way. I don't know if you can say that. I need some pens. So what tends to happen, I'll illustrate instead. So what tends to happen is we'll move a mind to the spirit world. Mind's in the spirit world. The loved ones are sort of here though. They haven't quite energetically pushed into the mind, or they haven't quite got that connection there. So they haven't quite formulated this connection. So what we need to do is say to this loved one in the spirit world, can you move forward a little bit? Can you connect a little bit more? Because ultimately your mind's in the spirit world. It's them that choose the mind. So it'll be whoever it is that wants to sort of take the mind, wherever the mind is. And then ultimately we want them to come a little bit closer so we can pick the information up. What lots of mediums do is they strive, they'll push more, they'll give more power to it. And what they do is they'll overreach. And then what happens is they'll start and jump for another communicator when they haven't even really got this communicator in place. So they're pushing with the mind. So they've connected to this loved one. It's so hard because I'm so used to drawing. They're pushing to this loved one. So the mind's here, but this loved one's just sort of, let me show you that. So they're just sort of there, and what we want is them to slide here. Does that make sense? But what happens is we might then push the mind, and there'll be another communicator that'll start to come in. So what we need to do is get these to line up with us, with our mind. So what happens is what we need to say to them is can you come a little bit closer? Can you impress that a little bit more on me? And what will happen is they will adjust for you. You don't need to adjust anymore because you've already done all the hard work. You're already there. You've got to allow the spirit. Remember, it's a three-way street. It's the spirit world, you, and the loved ones. So all interconnected. And this is where lots of mediums fall down. They think it's just the medium in the loved one. It's not. It's a mixture of the spirit world, the guides. It's all. Learn to use the intelligence of the spirit world. Learn to trust in this intelligence. Learn to trust in the mechanics, the universal law, the thought-based matter. By asking these to step forward that little bit closer will help them to line up a little bit more without you putting more power to your mind and pushing you further on. It's a real big tip, that one, and one that I don't say enough of. Mediums all start and scrabble around and jump out on the psychic link and all this, instead of just saying within my mind, can you come a bit closer? Can you simplify that for me? Help me understand what you're trying to say. They will do everything within their power to get that little bit closer to your mind, or to look at their memories that little bit more in order so you can produce it. The next thing you've got to look at is how developed are you within your mediumship? Are you pushing your mind far enough over? Are you pushing your mind and your mind staying in the spirit world? So your blend is important. 3, the blend. I have a video. I'll add that at the end. The blend is really important. So how much are you monetarily pushing your mind over? How much intention have you put into the spirit world? How much are you believing that you work mediumistically is very important here, because ultimately without it, you're going to be always falling that little bit short. Your mind's not going to be completely over there. So again, it's this 3-way street of the spirit world, you and the loved one all working in harmony. 4, get the spirit world involved, get the guides involved. Now this one, lots of people don't agree with certain things that I talk about. And do you know what it is? I didn't really care. Do you know what I mean? I didn't, right? I used to care. I used to care an awful lot. But then I realised I was wasting my time and wasting other people's time, because they weren't really bothered. They weren't really bothered about me. So I just thought, right, fair enough. And for me personally, I train very much this way, working with the spirit world, using these guides and using the intelligence that these people have, because these people are not suckers up there. They have been training, working, evolving for many, many years, training thousands upon thousands of mediums. I was having a little bit of a chat with Chief. Chief is my guide, as many of you will know here sitting on this channel. And I was talking to Chief about some stuff, as you do, you know. I like to talk about all sorts of things, actually. And we were talking about, you know, this intelligence and how this spirit world has all this intelligence, and that every day you're inspirationally, when you're working for the spirit world, or if your mind's in the spirit world, you'll be inspirationally trained by the spirit world every day. And you don't even realise it. And then people say that the guides don't train mediums, and that the guides don't do anything, and that the guides are, then some people are saying they're not even there. And I have to really question that, and I have to question where that mind is in that capacity. When you realise that when you work for the spirit world and you move your mind to the spirit world, you're being inspirationally trained, taught. Teach probably isn't the right word. There's probably a bad word use of grammar there. Taught is probably a better word. Will you become aware that learning to work with these people in order to keep the flow is really, really important. Also, watching the mind, watching how much fear's in there would also be a top tip. So check in, PS an extra, checking with the mind, checking with the mind, making sure that, you know, you're working with the instrument, you're making sure the instrument's in the best place possible. Understanding your mechanics is really, really important here. These are just some of the things that I can give you to keep the flow going when all is said and done. I've seen you cannot take energy from the spirit world, so therefore, unfortunately, all of this that goes on with the flow is connected to you, and making sure that you do the best possible thing you can do, and making sure that you ask them to step that little bit closer, to work that little bit more closely with your mind. Those who are overstraining, those who are constantly trying to reach for others or reach for more evidence, will ultimately come unstuck, because what will happen is they'll push your mind too far past that communicator, and it'll push on to the next one. So bear them things in mind when you're doing this particular exercise. I do have some exercises with connections to this, and I haven't really spoke about it, but there is some classes coming up via Zoom. If anybody's interested in UK-based Eastern Time and Pacific. Eastern Time only has a couple on, and so does Pacific. So maybe something that you could maybe check in there. Yeah, there is an email account in the description box below. If you want to get in touch and find out more details, I will put the video at the end. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Have a great day, and I'll see you all probably next week now. Bye for now.